Good day, greetings students. Very happy to meet you all in class 12 business studies. We are in chapter 4, which is planning. That is the first and basic managerial function of a management. Though there are various different functions like planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. These are the 5 different managerial functions. Each one of them are important. It is not that only one is important. Each one of them is important and they are interrelated. Right, what is interrelated? One is connected with another. It's not that one can work out separately. It's everything working together becomes management. For example, you have different parts of the body. Right? You can't make sure that only one is working alone. Or the entire body should work. That's called management. So just like how these parts of body are there, but body is a single unit. Same way only, managerial functions might be different, but management is together. Okay, you can't see each one differently. Now, why we are discussing each one of them differently? Because it is all important. Every part of it is important. Right, so far we have discussed about planning, what is planning, the concept of planning, features of planning, merits, demerits, limitations, demerits in the sense limitations and everything we have discussed so far. What are we going to discuss now? We have discussed importance of business also. We are going to discuss about the planning process. Okay, this is supposed to be the last topic of the chapter 4, planning. The remaining topics are there, right? Types of plan, strategy, rule, method, everything have been deleted from CBSE for this academic year 2020-21. So kindly go through it, just have a glance of what do you mean by types of plan, single use plan and strategy, method, rule, objective, everything. Just go through what it is. Because we are not going to study them in detail, because we are going to go with the other portions. What are we going to discuss in this class? Last class even we have discussed about the planning process. Right? We have just discussed briefly what are the steps involved in the planning process. Now what are we going to discuss? We are going to discuss each and every step in detail. So, chapter 4, planning. And we are going to discuss about the planning process. How we have to plan? Plans are different for every department. Top level one, that is for entire management, will have single plan. And then when it divides itself into different departments and different levels, for every level and every department we have different plans. But the process of planning is the same. For every plan, every department, every plan, process is the same. That is why we have to discuss process of planning in detail. Okay, the first step here is setting objectives. Okay. It can be a long-term goal or a short-term goal. What is the objective for this particular plan, for this particular time period? Because we saw that in planning what is important? Stipulated time period. One fixed time period should be there. Right, it is a concept or it is a direction that is given for a given period of time. So within that period of time, what is the goal or what is the objective that we are supposed to attain? That is what is the first and foremost step. What is setting objective? So it is very important. It is a very important step. Okay. This is the first and foremost step in the planning process. Okay. And every organization should know their objectives before they plan. Why? Because to attain the objectives, to complete the goals, to accomplish these goals only, we have to go with what? Plan. Right. So based on the objectives only, the remaining plan will be made out. And it differs. Again, these objectives, overall company's objectives will be one. When it is divided into different departments, their objectives will change. For example, when we have an objective of expanding, okay, we have already discussed about expanding, we'll discuss about survival. Okay, survival, and there is a new competitor in our field, in our line of business. So we need to survive. survive. We should not go down. We should keep up our sales level. That's the main objective, and for that we have made a plan. Now that is the plan. What is your objective? To survive in the competition, to survive in the field is your objective. When it divides itself, production department, when it goes to production department, what will be their objective? Their objective will be to cut down cost and produce more effectively and efficiently. Clear? They have to produce effectively and efficiently. So their objectives are different. Based on their objectives, their plans will differ. Then when we go to sales department, they have to promote sales. They have to increase the number of products sold. So that would be their objective. When it goes to finance department, they would want to cut down the cost. Right? Utilize the resources to their maximum. So that will be the objective of what? Which department? Finance department. When you talk about the human resource department, they have to get work from the human. They have to get work from the employees of the organization. That will be their objective. So each level, each department has different objectives. And based on this objective only, the entire plan will be facilitated or framed. That is why we say that the first and foremost step in the planning process is fixing of our objectives, deciding which objectives we have to attain, deciding what are the goals that we have to attain. There may be different goals, right? I just said survival as an example. Sometimes it will be social objectives, sometimes profit will be your goal, sometimes opening a new product or a line of business will be a goal, or beating up your competitor, overtaking him or her, or keeping yourself higher in the place, higher or at the topmost level in the competition might be your objective, or to retain the employees, at least at sometimes to retain the present employees also will be an objective. For an NGO, for a non-profit organization, for a non-government organization, for service institution, what might be the objective? Even they will have objectives, right? Because how management is common for all organizations, profit or non-profit, same way planning also is prevalent in all kinds of organizations and management. So that's what happens. Even a non-profit organization has certain plan. They should also have objective, like they'll aim at serving so many people or serving this many children within this particular period of time. During this pandemic situation, what might be the aim of a service organization? They would want to distribute more sanitizers. They would want to create more awareness in people about the social distancing and all those things. Right, so based on the organization, the objectives differ, but whichever sort of management it is, whichever sort of organization it is essential. What is essential? Planning is essential, and for planning, the first step is to set your goals, set your objectives, right? The second step is to develop premises, developing premises. Now we already saw that planning is futuristic, right? It is based on future. It is done with a lot of forecasting. You remember what is forecasting? It is guessing of what might happen in future. The manager or the management should be well aware of what is the present condition and how it might change in the future. They have to analyze the various business environments, how it might change, what are the changes that can be expected. All these things should be kept in mind, and there should be a good forecasting. They need sound judgment, proper analytical thinking, logical reasoning. Based on that only, they'll be able to frame, because planning is futuristic. Planning is entirely about future. So when you talk about future, you cannot be certain, right? You can't be certain that next month on this particular day it will rain. Just like that, anything, the market condition might change. Okay? Now your product has a good demand, but you can't say that every time it will be a good demand. There might be social trends, there may be changes in social trend, or there might be a new competitor who is better than you. Okay, so our product is better than you. Lots of other criteria are there where you need to face risk. Risk always travels with you. Now everything, planning is entirely done based on a forecasting, on assumption. Okay, on a set of assumption. Thinking of what might happen in future plays a big role in planning process. Okay, so you are just going to make assumptions about future. Assumptions means what? This might happen. So one more important term is assumptions. Okay, now these assumptions are called as premises. Okay, these assumptions are called as premises. Now what do you mean by premises? The assumptions that you make about the future are called as premises. What are premises? The assumptions a manager or a management makes about future based on his or her forecasting is called as premise. Alright, why do we need to develop these premises? Because you need to have the assumption. You don't know what is going to happen in future, so that you can't blindly look into things. Just as analyzing the present situation will help you to have a framework about the future. This might happen. There will be a change, minute changes, but still, without knowing anything, if you know something, it will be better. Now imagine you're going to your friend's home, okay? You know where is that place, okay? You know your friend's home. So what you will do? You will go quicker, and somewhere in between you have faced a diversion. There is a roadblock. Now you have to take another path. Means okay, you know what that is. So you can immediately take. But you are going to your new friend's home, whose home you never know. So when you don't know the route, you don't know the alternates also. Okay, so there is a difference between not forecasting and planning and just, forecasting and planning. So it is always better to have a forecast and then develop the premises, because based on your premises, based on your assumptions only, you will be able to go into the next step, which is going to be identifying alternative courses of action. Okay, so it is essential for you to involve forecasting there. The manager or the management should have assumptions about future, and these assumptions are called as premises, and these premises should be in a proper structured form. Just without knowing something or just without analyzing the present situation, you cannot come to a conclusion. You need to study about the present condition, and you have to make some kind of assumptions and forecasting that this might happen. Okay, at least 75% to 80% should be right. Then only a planning will be successful. Almost if it is wrong, then there is no point in forecasting or in assuming that this might happen. Based on this only the plans and policies, existing plans and policies should be studied, existing political environment should be studied, what might be the changes in the political environment should be assumed, now those stuff. So once you have developed the premises, what would you do next? You would identify the alternate course of actions. So the third step is to identify alternate courses of action. So it's not course of action, children, it is courses of action. More than one course will be there, more than one path will be there. It is not that you have only one way to go or only one method to attain your goal. There might be different ways. How will you know that? Only if you develop the premises, only if you forecast, only if you have a clear format about it, then you will be able to identify the alternate courses of action. Various courses of action will be there. You have to figure out whether you have to go with the same old traditional routine method or you are going to innovate something. Because if the technological environment has changed, then of course you need to innovate. So you should determine whether you are going to go with the same course of action, what is happening at the present, or do you want to change it, or they have to be what kind of changes you have to put into present action. ஏன்னா முன்னாடி பண்ண பிளான் வந்து பாசிட்டிவாக இருந்துச்சா, ரிசல்ட் நெகட்டிவாக இருந்துச்சா, அதில் என்ன தப்பாச்சு, எதை கரெக்ட் பண்ணிக்கணும், எது நல்லா இருந்துச்சா, அதை எது ஃபாலோ பண்ணணும், everything you have to develop and and then based on that you have to identify the alternate courses of action. Clear? After you find out the alternate course of action, you need to evaluate each course of action. Okay? Evaluate alternate courses of action. What do you mean by evaluating? How can you evaluate? You have to evaluate by determining the pros and cons of each and every course of action. Pros and cons means what? Positives and negatives, the merits and demerits. You have to discuss or you have to evaluate each course of action by studying the pros and cons of this. If you put this particular plan of action, what would be the merits and what would be the demerits. Likewise, you have to do different courses of action. If you have 10 different courses of action, then you have to find the pros and cons of each and every course of action, because everything will have positive and negative. It's not that one thing is completely good and another one is completely bad. Everything has both merits and demerits. So only when you evaluate the courses of action, you will get to know which has more merits, which has less limitations. Based on that, you will be able to find out the plan and how it should be. It should be a feasible plan. That is, it should be worth for your money. Okay, for your investment, and it should give good results for you. Right? That is what we call as feasible plan. So once you have evaluated, what you have to calculate? You have to calculate all the variables. What are the, if you take one course of action, what are the steps you have to do? Another course of action, what are the steps you have to do? This is tough or that is tough, which is more profitable. Everything you have to keep it into account. What are the earnings, what are the expenses that you have to face? Everything you have to take it into account. For example, you're just going to audit your accounts. You're going to just take your accounts or income tax files to some auditor and you're going to find out how much was the profit or loss or how much income tax you have to pay. There even that's your objective. Finding a good auditor is your objective. There even you need to evaluate the alternate course of action. How you will evaluate? There will be various auditors. You have to choose the best one. So you have to see who is closer to me, who is well known about the topic, or who is experienced, highly experienced, who will be able to accommodate my timings. Okay, who is free as of now. All these you will be analyzing, right? That is called as evaluating alternate courses of action. It is not only for big things, even for small things, the same thing. If you want to choose an auditor, that is your objective. Developing premises, forecasting. So if I have an auditor, what is the pros and what is the cons? If I don't have an auditor, what happens? If I have an auditor along with me, if I recruit him for my company, what will happen? Or sometimes I just go and consult. Or full-time auditor will prepare. Or just for during the tax time alone, I can go and consult and come. Like that. So you have to develop the premises. Then you have to identify the alternate courses of action. You have to choose who is better here. Okay? Who works out better? Who are the different auditors available for me? Then you have to evaluate. Each auditor has to be evaluated on the basis of how much fees they charge, whether they are closer to us, what's their experience and all those things. And then what do? You select one course of action. Okay, select the best course of action or select whichever you think is feasible. Whichever you think is feasible and profitable. Okay, whichever you think is feasible for you, whichever you think is profitable for you, you have to choose that particular alternative. Which course of action you have to implement in your plan, that you have to choose. At times what happens when you are discussing about when you are evaluating various alternate courses of action, you will find that in plan 1, combine everything and you have to make it. Clear? This is called selecting an alternative or selecting a proper course of action. Then what else we have? We have implementing the plan. Once you have selected, you have to implement the plan by stating the objectives, by stating the time period, and all those things. Okay, once when you want to implement it, what? You have to put it into action. What are the raw materials required? What are the other things required to make this plan work out? You have to see. Okay, I have planned, I have chosen the best course of action, done, over. No, you need to implement it. In our example, we were discussing about choosing an auditor and we have chosen the best auditor. Okay, he is the best auditor for my company. Means is it okay? Is it over? No, you need to take your accounts to that particular person. That is implementing your plan. In this example, when you are talking about production, you have to involve it into the process. That is implementing your plan. When you are talking about staffing, when you are recruiting some employees, then that is your plan. Implementing your plan. Doing it. Training means that is implementing your plan. Okay, for example, when you are going to train, your objective is to train your employees for a certain activity. Then you need to develop what are the things that they have to learn. Okay, how long do you think they will take time to learn? What kind of trainer they will like? Okay, what kind of training times will be suitable for them? All this you have to discuss in premises. Then identifying alternate courses of action, you have to choose who will be the better trainer or what will be the better training method. There are different training methods. So which training method should I choose? Then evaluate alternate courses of action. You have to see each and every training method which will be better. We'll be analyzing each and every one. Everything with the time consumed, with the materials required and everything. And then finally, you will select which training session or which training method is good for them. Then you will train them. That is implementing the plan. And what is the final step? Follow up. What do you mean by follow up? Once you have trained them, you have to check whether they are doing it. You have trained them to use one particular methodology in the production. You trained them. If you just leave them, you will not know whether your training is working or not. So you have to observe whether the people, whether your employees are using that particular methodology in training. That is why we say that follow-up is very, very essential. In any kind of plan, any type of plan, any department, follow-up is essential. What follow-up means? What? Just verifying if everything is going according to the plan. Okay? It's kind of verification. If everything is going according to the plan, you have to check. At every point of the implementation of plan, you have to follow up whether everything is going according to the action, whether the objectives are being achieved. Are we going in the right way of action? If we are not going, what we have to do? We have already evaluated alternate courses of action. We have to come back to this step, choose a better alternate course of action or do any changes that is required and make your plan a successful plan. Okay? Remember, plans cannot work in dynamic environment, but still it is essential. That's why you need to follow up. Because dynamic environment, right? It might change at any time. So you need to follow it up whether it is going according to the environment and as well as the plan. So if anything goes wrong, you need to change it and adjust according to the environment. Okay, so what is the topic that we have discussed today? Planning process. And in this we have 7 steps. What are they? Setting objectives. This is the first and foremost step in the planning process. So you need to know towards what you are going. What are the goals that you have to be achieved? It differs. Company objectives will be there. Then department-wise objectives will differ. Level-wise it will differ. Each employee will have a different objective. But you have to work together towards the group goal. Even though they all work differently, it has to be coordinated. Coordination, the essence of management, remember? So you have to coordinate each one's work and take it towards the achieving of the company's objective. You have to subordinate the you should not pay much attention to your personal interest. Your company's interest only should come first to you, right? So that should be set first. After setting your objectives, you have to develop the premises. Developing premises means what? You have to assume, forecast, and then make assumptions about future. These assumptions about future are called as premises. And then what you have to do? You have to identify the alternate courses of action. What are the various alternate courses of action? Then evaluate each alternate course of action by discussing the pros and cons of each and every method. Select one course of action. Out of all the alternatives, selecting the best one, whichever you think is feasible, whichever you think is you can do for your company. Because one plan may have a machinery that your company does not have. So if you want to take up that plan, either you should buy the machinery or give up the plan. If you have enough financial resources to buy the machinery, fine. If you don't have, then you have to go for the next course of action. So whichever is feasible for you and whichever is profitable for you, whichever is possible for you, you have to select the alternative and then you have to put it into effect. You have to implement the plan, because it does not work out if you don't just put it into practice. Because what is plan? What to do and how to do it. And then you have to implement them. Then only you will be able to know whether it is doing according to that. And then finally, follow up. It's very, very essential, because at any point of time there may be a deviation. So you have to just verify if your plan is working out properly and you all are working towards your objectives that you have already set. So based on that, you have to change your course of action if there is anything required. Okay, this is about the process of planning. The remaining topics of this chapter, types of plans, methods, strategy, objectives, rule, method, and all those things have been deleted from CBSE's portion for the academic year 2020 and 21. But still, it's not a bad thing to just go through of what is mentioned in the topic, right? So in chapter 4, what are the various things we have discussed? We have discussed about planning. What is planning? Planning is deciding what to do and how to do it, right? It is the basic managerial function. It is the first managerial function. And then what are the other things we have discussed? Importance of planning. We have discussed about the features, merits and demerits of planning, and finally we have discussed about the planning process. Clear? That is the end of chapter 4. So kindly go through the chapter fully and make sure that you have understood each and every topic. Try to relate it to real life situations, like whatever examples have been given. Try to create your own examples also. It will be really, really beneficial. Understand the topic in the topic's point of view in a broader sense. Don't do it in an exam point of view. Try to gain up the knowledge about planning. So I'll meet you in the next class with a new chapter, organizing. So before going into the next video session, make sure that you have completed till planning, whatever we have discussed so far. Make sure that you have gone through each and everything. Okay, and do your worksheets by studying by looking into the textbook. Read the text. Okay, read the text, understand it, and then answer your worksheets. If you can't understand it, watch the videos again and again, understand the topic, and then answer your worksheets. Please don't just blindly answer your worksheets. Clear? So, thank you children. We all have a great day today. Meet you again with a new chapter, organizing. See you children.